In this video, we're going to start to use algebraic properties in order to find the derivative of a function. So recall that there's these limit definitions of the derivatives. Each of these things, these fractions, just represents an average rate of change. So it's the difference in the y values over the difference in the x values. All right, I tend to use this one because I like just having the h going to 0 on the bottom versus this x minus a on the other one. So that's my preferred one that I'm going to use throughout this video. All right, and if we have a function given, all right, then if we plug in x plus h, and we plug in x, and we do all this simplifying, we evaluate the limit, we can find the actual derivative function for the original function. All right, so here is our first example. All right, f of x is 3x minus 2. We're going to find f prime of x. All right, so f prime of x, by definition, is this limit definition. All right, so exactly what was on the previous slide is our definition. And here we're finding the entire derivative function. So it's a whole function that represents all the tangent lines we could want. And then after we do that, we'll find the specific slopes of tangent lines that we care about. But here, all right, the limit is not going to go away anytime soon. All right, what does the f of x plus h mean? It means I'm going to take x plus h, right, that expression, and plug it in for the x in my function expression. So it's going to be the 3 is still going to be there, and then x is getting replaced or plugged in with x plus h, and then minus 2. All right, so this thing in this blue parentheses I'm putting, that is all this f of x plus h. And then I have to subtract f of x. Well, f of x is literally just written right there. F of x is 3x minus 2. All right, when you're doing this process, all right, use parentheses more than you think. So put parentheses around stuff because there's a lot of distribution and things that have to happen in order for you to get the right answer. All right, so let's see what our next step is going to be. On the top here, this 3 is going to distribute in. All right, forgetting the distribution property is one of the most common mistakes. That's going to be 3x plus 3h minus 2. And again, distribution, especially with just a minus sign, this negative sign distributes into both these. And that's why you want to put parentheses around stuff when you're plugging it in. So I'm going to get minus 3x plus 2 all over h. And when we're doing this correctly, you know you've done it correctly when everything without an h cancels. So 3x and minus 3x are opposites. Minus 2 and positive 2 are opposites. This is the limit, h approaches 0, of 3h over h. And our whole goal is eventually to just plug in 0 for h because that's what's on the bottom of the limit. But we haven't been able to do that because there's an h on the bottom and we can't divide by 0. But now we have an h on the top and an h on the bottom that cancel. And the limit is h approaches 0 is 3. All right, this whole expression just simplifies to 3, and the limit of 3 is 3. All right, so this is our final answer. F prime of x equals 3. All right, so the whole derivative function is just 3. All right, it's the same for every single input. So the slope of the tangent line at 4 is 3. The slope of the tangent line at 8 is 3. And this makes sense because my original function is just a line with that slope. All right, so we're just going to keep doing these. All right, they take a little bit of time. So again, kind of you can maybe watch these parts at a little bit faster speed if you kind of understand what's going on. All right, but just all algebra and plugging in things and making sure you remember distributive property, foiling, all that stuff. So this one, we're trying to find f prime of x. Always start with our same definition of the derivative. Then I plug in x plus h into my function. So I'm plugging it in for that x there. So it's going to be x plus h squared minus x squared. And then x plus h squared, the most common mistake is saying x plus h squared is x squared plus h squared. All right, that's the most common mistake. You don't want to do that. Remember, if you're squaring something, you are multiplying it by itself. And when you multiply two things that look like this together, you have to FOIL. So this is going to be x times x plus x times h plus x times h plus h times h. All right, so that is that first term FOILed out, and I still have minus x squared. And again, once I do this simplifying stuff, I know I'm on the right track. If all the stuff without an h cancels, x squared and minus x squared cancel out. I have xh, or actually 2 xh's on the top, so I'll write that. 2 xh's plus h squared over h. And here's why it's important when all the h's cancel out, because now on the top I can factor out, they all have an h, so I can factor out that common h to the front. So if I pull out an h, that leaves behind a 2x plus h. And because I'm able to factor out that h, now I can cancel it. And now that I finally canceled out that h on the bottom, I don't have a fraction anymore. I can actually just plug in 0 and I get 2x. All right, so my derivative function is 2x. All right, here we have 1 over x. Again, nothing's going to change in terms of the setup. Our derivative function is this limit definition. All right, I'm going to plug in x plus h in for the x's. And here's where things can get a little bit more complicated and you need your algebra skills. How am I going to work with this expression to eventually cancel out that h? Well, I have these two fractions. If you have two fractions, you might as well combine them. I need to get a common denominator. To get a common denominator, I'm going to multiply that first fraction by x over x, and the second fraction by x plus h over x plus h. All right. So this is what I multiplied by the first fraction. This is what I multiplied by the second fraction. But now you can see the denominators are the same, so now I can combine them. X minus x plus h is on the numerator, so now I'm putting a lot of colors up here. But when I combine these numerators, I have x minus x plus h, so the x's are going to cancel. When I get minus h over x times x plus h, and all of that's over h. But dividing by this h on the bottom, dividing by h is the same as multiplying by 1 over h. So this is going to turn into this. All right, because when I multiply that by 1 over h, it just sends that h on the bottom. And now you can finally see this h is going to cancel out. And there's still an h in the bottom of the fraction, but I canceled out the problematic h, that h is by itself. So now I can plug in h equals 0. I get negative 1 over x squared. All right, so this is my derivative function for 1 over x. Again, it's just using basic algebraic principles. In this case, we're finding a common denominator and combining. And also this fact of how do you work with this like triple fraction, right? Knowing that this h on the bottom kind of just joins that denominator there. And here's one for you to try on your own. All right, see if you can find the derivative of x squared minus 4x. All right, so I'm going to just like flash up the answer in a second. So go ahead and try this one on your own. I'll show the answer in 3, 2, 1. And the answer that you end up getting is 2x minus 4. So I'll walk you through it real quick. All right, plugging in the x plus h's in for the x's. So this whole thing here is f of x plus h, which is the same thing, but there's x's or x plus h's, minus the f of x that's given. All right, remember to FOIL to get these 3 terms. Remember to distribute to get those 2 terms. Remember to distribute this negative, all right, to those 2 terms. All right, so that's all the algebra kind of stuff. You have to be really careful with FOIL and distribution. Everything without an h cancels. We factor the h out, and then we can finally plug in h once we make it not a fraction. All right, so quick things. We can use the limit definition of the derivative to find the expression for the derivative function, so the entire function. And if we want to find a specific slope of a tangent line, then we plug in values after. And don't forget, all right, your basic algebraic principles. FOIL and distributing correctly are the most common mistakes that'll get made when students are finding these derivatives using the limit definition.